And a weaker dollar, of course, is going to make the price of oil go higher. All commodities will go higher with a weaker dollar. And 2025 will be a year where the American dollar has a massive, significant decline in comparative value against other fiat currencies and against commodities and against things like money, which is gold. Gold was up $50, $45 yesterday. Today it's about $30. It's at 3,100 and whatever. It's going to go to 4,000 quickly. I talked about in a recent video, I think it's going to happen this year. And besides the decline in the US dollar, this will also be the year where real estate starts to come down pretty significantly. It will also be the year where gold and silver mining stocks finally get treated with respect. They get the valuation that they've earned. That is also predictive of how well they're going to do now with these higher prices of precious metals. And if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, you've seen the last 4 trades I made involved lithium, uranium, silver, and oil. Just ignore a lot of what OPEC is going to do. Just understand their intention. They're trying to keep prices high enough that it's good for them. And they're also sometimes, what Saudi Arabia has been doing recently, they'll push the price of oil down to put more pressure on their competition. Think of it like McDonald's selling hamburgers for 5 cents because they want to put Burger King out of business. And we're at a moment right now for my oil depletion clock countdown, which I put out years ago, and we're about to break below 44 years, I believe it is, and we're going to drop down to 43 years of oil left based on the daily usage rates of the world and how much oil there is. And people always argue about, well, you can't do that and you can't say this, whatever. The point is, it's going to be close enough. And I'll remind you that massive, absolutely inconceivable oil wars are going to break out. And they don't do that when the world runs out of oil. They do it as the world runs out of oil. And a lot of that is going to start, a lot of it has already started, but a lot of that posturing and strategic placements of things has already begun. But it will get more clearly obvious and it will get dramatically worse. But of course, one of the things I mentioned even on the oil depletion clock is that, yeah, there'll be new technologies, maybe some new finds. We'll find the oil, we'll get it out more efficiently, we'll use it better, we won't need as much because we'll go to more renewable resources. Yes, all of that will happen. But in the meantime, we still aren't there yet. And then as long as we're still so reliant on oil, there's all sorts of vulnerabilities that come with that. With the shale boom, this hydraulic fracking they call it, you're getting oil sideways. But the thing is, when you break into a fracking deposit, most of that oil comes out in the first year. It just sort of gushes. It's like poking a pin into a water balloon. And that's why a lot of these fracking finds and wells and resources, they suddenly have all this oil and then it depletes over time really quickly. And that's why they're having a lot of financial trouble. After the first boom, there's a bust there. So they need to keep finding and poking into more finds to keep the treadmill going. I'm going to tell you my list of a lot of the things that are going to push oil prices lower. Increased production from non-OPEC countries like the shale boom in America, technological advancements and efficiency gains, economic slowdowns, energy transition to renewable energy, improved fuel efficiency, building inventory levels. So my theory, my whole strategy on oil, I'll tell you it in a nutshell. Don't try and day trade. Don't try and predict oil prices. There's too many moving parts. Too many people have a big influence on oil prices. Too many interest groups could say, I want oil to be higher or lower, and they can affect that. A couple of kids with a drone could affect the price of oil. The usage of oil overall worldwide is not decreasing, it's increasing. And that's even as the global economies are getting a little bit weaker, but they're stronger in many emerging markets. So strong that they in fact will actually overpower the lack of growth coming from Western countries. There's more people and they're going to be using more oil, just as always, but there's other alternatives now, such as all the things I mentioned. Those will be pulling oil prices lower. But in the meantime, I'm still saying that any kind of military event will really spike oil prices, which will really spike high quality oil production companies like the ones I talk about in my newsletter. And you could benefit as an investor by getting involved in the right kinds of companies before they spike in price. I believe that we are very close to a war with Iran. And even if we don't have a war with Iran, making it look like we're going to have a war with Iran, even if it's for negotiation tactics. That's why we're loading all our military around them and getting rid of all of their proxies. Chopping off 6 of the 7 heads of the snake surrounding them, and we're not going to go to war. That's still going to result in the prices of oil going up higher because people are going to expect that we're getting closer to a war, even if we don't. So there's still an opportunity there. Oil prices will be the next big, quick moving event, next big, quick moving asset where all of a sudden they just spike. And there's other wars too that could spike oil prices. But this is the big one. This is what you want to be keeping an eye on. The whole world is watching this. It's not a coincidence that we have 6 stealth bombers on Diego Garcia. So you're going to want to own oil. You're going to want to own gold. Gold is sort of like nature's insurance. It's also a risk-off asset, and it's something as a flight to safety when there's a military explosion. You're definitely going to want to own oil. If it gets real, it gets heavy, and they actually start talking about shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. And if you want to get the Peter Leeds app, it's all the information from our world-famous newsletter, sliced up, searchable, and in your pocket. In the app and anything else you can get through my website, it's all there designed to help you benefit from the time that we're in right now.